Coffee time, coffee time. Yeah, this ain't your average cup of joe. Listen, I need it in the morning, I need it at night. He always keeps it brewing, he always keeps it tight. Just a little sip, it'll get you right. Terrence Pickett always be the one that gets the coffee right. The coffee's right, the coffee's right in my life. It's never a wrong time over crime to get what's yours and to get what's mine. Come on. Coffee time in my life. Coffee time. Feels so right. I need a little sugar, put it in my cup. Can you stir it, Terrence? Let me know what's up. And at the end of the show, you can brew another pot. Just make sure you make it hot. Come on. Time in my life. Coffee time. Feels so right. I need a little sugar, put it in my cup. Can you stir it, Terrence? Let me know what's up. And at the end of the show, you can brew another pot. Just make sure you make it hot. Come on.
Good morning, everybody, and to everybody a good morning. For those of you that are up, do me a favor, invite somebody to share. The morning belongs to the winners. You can't sleep and get it done. Yeah. Got a lot we're going to talk about this morning. Been trying new times, tried 7 o'clock, tried 7:30, but for some reason, this 6:30 feels right. Just for the benefit of those of you that are just joining us and haven't followed me long, this is going on 9 years we've been doing this, and we started out 7 o'clock in the morning. That was the very first time we came on 9 years ago. And all credit to my little bro, the late, great Orion Benjamin Reddick. Reddick told me, he said, bro, I like coffee time, but you need to start at 6:30. You need to start when people are getting up so they can turn the TV up, the radio up, the computer up, whatever, and listen to you while they're getting dressed or while they are commuting. And, from then we went to 6:30. We changed the time several times. It's always based on my schedule when I'm able to come on. Pretty much I've been blessed to kind of control my own schedule for the last... It's been over 15 years. I'm blessed by the grace of God that I've been in a position to do that. And, but even being able to control my own schedule, there are some things that I cannot avoid. So I think 6:30 is good. What do y'all think? Steph Ann, good morning. LJ Jones, good morning. When people call you Terry, that means they know you. Terrence is, but when they say Terry, you get my attention every time. But good morning, everybody. This morning, I want to talk about growth, maturity, and understanding. Growth, maturity, and understanding. If you all like this time, you like to keep it this time, raise your hand. Leroy Hurd, what's up, bro? Good to see you, man. I was calling to check on you. I'm praying for you, praying for your brother, all that good stuff. Ann Johnson, good morning. Melanie Patrick, good morning. You all do me a favor, invite somebody, share. The morning belongs to the winners. If you are not up now, you are a loser. I'm just kidding. I want to talk about growth, maturity, and understanding. Growth, maturity, and understanding. There's a passage of scripture but Heard, yeah, man, hit me back, bro. Just checking on you, loving on you. Chanel Wells, Bracy, good to see you. There's a passage of scripture that is very intriguing to me. The Bible is very intriguing. Studying it is more intriguing. And one of the things that there's a scripture that says, Teresa Lockett, good morning. There's a scripture that says, to him who has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says to the church. So to open a passage to him who has is suggesting that everybody doesn't have an ear. Angela Hobbs, good morning to you. Everybody doesn't have an ear. That means everybody is not in a position to hear And we know that without hearing, there can be no understanding. Without understanding, there can be no growth. Without growth, there can be no maturity. So everything begins with understanding. There's a, you run across people in your life, and there are many people that says, "Hey, I need a mentor, Terrence. Will you mentor me?" Sure, I will. And watch now. As much as you think they understand your language, the tough times are going to come for them to be tested to make sure they have an ear to hear what is being said to them. People don't want mentorship. It's not what they want. What people want, they want something that is comfortable. They want something that is sweet. We live in this generation that we live in. They know nothing about the struggle. They don't know nothing about working hard and persevering. They think because they are hard workers physically and they're on their grind physically, that is the sum total of what hard work is. And they can never be so wrong. Hard work deals with a mentality. Hard work deals with the intestinal fortitude that it takes, perseverance. It deals with being able to stay focused regardless of the blows that you take in life. Now, here's the thing. Most of our understanding is birthed through our experiences. It's our experiences that bring us to a greater understanding. Because if you're going to be in the know, there's a level of experience that you have to experience that sheds the light on a greater truth. And it's that greater truth that causes us to grow. We're approaching Valentine's Day, and thank God I don't have that to worry about. Fellas, if you're married, you got a girlfriend, break up with her and just be mad with her. Don't send her up for Valentine's Day, and then, come back to her and tell her you sorry and initiate a fight so you don't have to pick up that tab. Anyway, don't do that. I'm just playing with you. But we're approaching Valentine's Day, and I'm thinking about flowers and roses, and that is the sign of basically the time in the era that we live. That's how our culture celebrates this day. I hate Valentine's Day. It's a Hallmark holiday, and I think we're robbed on Valentine's Day. You do that stuff all year round. You don't have to wait and do it in one day. But anyway, one of the things that I was thinking about flowers is that a flower, no matter how beautiful the flower is, I'm going to say roses, no matter how beautiful the rose is on. Anthony Bernard Jackson, what up, big bro? No matter how beautiful the rose is, that rose has thorns. Not only does that rose have thorns, that rose grew in the darkness of the ground. Then it had to stand the test of time, and it had to stand through the wind of the earth, through the storms of the earth. Melanie Patrick, it's a beautiful day. It's your birthday. Well, happy early birthday. It had to grow through the storm, whatever the climate was, the rose had to grow through, and it had to maintain its stability and consistency to become the beautiful flower that it is, but it had to persevere through the climate. The climate is going to be the climate. What does that have to do with understanding? Most of our understanding, most of how God deals with our ear and the ear of our heart, he does it through trouble, misfortunes, demise, death. One scripture in Ecclesiastes says that it's better to be at a funeral than at a festival of feasts. Very intriguing scripture as well. And it says it's better to be at a funeral than a festival or feast. It's better to be at a funeral than a party. Why? Because your understanding is stirred in trouble. You reflect memories, reflections of the person who's deceased. Their life causes you to pull the mirror out to look at your life. And there's something about a funeral that does more for us than a celebration. You know, you're not reflecting on what you need to change, how your life is going to end at a party. No, because emotions are high. You're celebrating. And it's in that celebration that somehow wisdom and knowledge is basically at a standstill. But at a funeral, you get your best revelations at a funeral. You reflect on how you're living. You reflect on how you want to die. There are things that are turned on at a funeral that are not ignited at a party. So when it comes to understanding, our understanding increases in our trouble. It's in being uncomfortable, being pulled from one environment, taken in another environment, causes the capacity of your understanding to grow. This is one of the reasons it's imperative, man, that we try something different. We try something new. Kendra Antoinette Clavon, good morning to you and thank you. How's the little man? Send my love to the little guy. Good to see you this morning. So our understanding grows. It grows through the worst times of our life. You know, one of the things that I believe made me a better person, that challenged me to change and not be the same dude I'd always been, one of the things was the misfortunes that I had experienced in my life. Losing siblings, losing best friends, seemingly always on the losing end. I decided that I wanted to be more, I wanted to have more, and I wanted to do more. Well, in order to do that, you've got to change where you are if you're going to accomplish where you desire to be. So trouble, misfortunes, being uncomfortable always keeps us in a position of change. And when we pursue change, it's in pursuing change that we change. Sometimes, I'm telling you, sometimes you need to uproot yourself from around where you are, what you know, what you're familiar with, maybe just for a day, for a week, however long you can do it, and go somewhere to chill, to learn a new culture, to get out of your environment. You'd be surprised how that will ignite things that have been suppressed in your heart. We live in the cloud of dysfunction. Dysfunction becomes our norm because we don't have an escape. We're stuck to deal with whatever. And when we become dysfunctional when we don't handle dysfunction correctly. We tend to suppress things and push it to the rear end of our mind. Well, suppressing it is not dealing with it. There was a guy who was incarcerated. He was on drugs before he got incarcerated. When he got incarcerated, of course, being removed from that environment that was conducive for his drug behavior, being removed from that environment, being put in jail, he no longer has access to the drugs, so he's not doing drugs in jail. And he had did 10 years. He had been clean. 10 years. As soon as he got out of prison, he went to the drug house. Because though he was separated from it, it was still in his psyche. And just because you're absent from it doesn't mean you're delivered from it. And so many things, there are so many things that we've suppressed that we are away from, so the triggers can't be pulled. But when you get away from everything, rest, chill, quiet time, however you do what you do, glass of wine, whatever you do, when you get away and you do that, you give yourself some time, you'll start to see how damaged you've become dealing in the environment that you've been in. And that's when healing begins. So understanding begins when dysfunction ends. There has to be accountability for who you are and how you got to be the way that you are. Sorry, y'all. The weather has my attention. So when you take responsibility for who you are, you get away from what you're familiar with. What you've become begins to surface. Most times people are so clueless of self, they have no self-awareness, that they don't understand who they've come to be. They lack understanding as it relates to self. And you can live in abuse for so long that your abuse becomes your norm. And it's not until you're placed in a healthier environment that you realize the environment that you're in was abusive and intrusive. So a lot of times being where you are, going through the same thing every day, you won't see the damage that's been done, that's being done, and you will have no understanding. Well, if there could be no understanding, there could be no growth. There can be no growth. There's no maturity. You cannot grow into who you should be until you grow away from what you were. But you can't know what you were until there's some level of understanding. And what I'm telling you, what gets us healthier is a change of environment. First thing that God told Abraham, hey, Abe, get from around your family. Why would God separate a man from his family? He said, get from around your friends. Get from around your country, your kinsmen. All the things that you're familiar with, I want you to leave it. Why would God do that? Why would God give the man a family, then remove the man from the family? Whenever God is going to build something great in you, he has to get you from around what you've been exposed to in order to enlarge your territory of thinking. You know, most of this stuff that we call the devil and we label demonic, it's just stinking thinking. That's all it is. We give the devil so much power. We've given him so much control. And he gets that power and he gets that control primarily because we don't like change. We don't like change. And the danger in not liking change is you can't embrace what you do not enjoy. So if you don't embrace change, you don't enjoy change, you don't like change, you're going to always be who you've always been. Your capacity of understanding will not grow, and you're going to always stay where you've always been. If you want something different, you've got to do something different. Doing something different is going to require you to search, study, there are times when I'm on my way home that I'll go a different route, not because something's wrong with mine, just for change. There are times when I will change my entire house around, not because it's something wrong. It's just that I want to change. I get tired of seeing the same thing, talking to the same people, doing the same thing. No, you've got to institute change. And this change, literally, I'm telling you, it will cause you to cough up your present reality so that you can see in your regurgitation exactly what's been inside of you. Growth doesn't come easy. One of the things that I was challenged to do as a teenager, and I still do to this day, is to read between 3 to 5 books. Well, the reason they said that is that reading is to the mind what exercise is to the body. If you're going to be physically strong, that's going to come through opposing weight. It's the weight that you lift against the weight that you have that creates more muscle in your body. Well, it's the same thing with reading. When you inhale more knowledge against the knowledge that you have, it makes you mentally stronger, mentally tougher to be able to endure more, which automatically, when you've endured more and you've learned and you've gained wisdom, it increases you to get more. But all of it begins with understanding. That scripture that I shared with you all, he that has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit has to the church, meaning everybody doesn't have an ear of understanding. Let me tell you why. Everybody doesn't have an ear. It's not that God is playing favorites. It's that some are not willing to pay the price of what it takes to know more, to understand more, to grow. Growth and maturity begins with accountability. You got to be accountable. You got to have somebody to look at you and tell you what you are. If everybody's in your corner is praising you and nobody is showing you the dysfunctional you, you're around the wrong people and you have the wrong friends. Periodically, there needs to be a checkmate. There needs to be somebody to tell you, pick it. You walk around like your stuff don't stink. There ought to be, pick it, your attitude. I never forget, Orion, he never leaves my heart, never leaves my mind. Orion and my brother Freddie, those are two deaths that just, I understand the eternal end, but those are two deaths that I'm still not happy with. I've accepted, I'm at peace. I'm just not happy because I believe they should be here. But I remember one time Orion told me, he said, we were in a crowd of people. I'm clowning, doing what I do. I think I was ranking on the little guy. And we going in, having fun. And I believe AMP was with us, AMP. Matter of fact, anyway, Orion had just paused and looked at me. And this is what he said to me. He said, there's a little flair in your little attitude, Terrence. Well, he called me Pick. He said, there's a little flair in your attitude. I know you got your little radio show. And you're in church singing like, this is Orion now, singing like Michael Jackson. He said, but don't think you better than nobody. He said, the way you did that guy, I understand your sense of humor and what you do. But you did it from the wrong place. Orion was the brother that would call me all kind of MFs. He made me face the reality of what, if you're not careful, success can do to you. Accomplishments can do to you. When you get in situations where you're winning, win, no matter what, it begins to slowly remove you from what humbled you. See, losing keeps you on ground level. This is why I don't care how many times you win, you're going to experience some losses to keep that balance. And he would face me. He'd tell me things about me nobody else could say. And I get mad, hang up in his face, call him back. Bro, you was right. You know, I've had my brother Leroy Hurd, he's on here, to say, hey, you shouldn't do it this way. And if you do it this way, it ain't going to work. You need to do it this. You got to have people in your life who are not afraid to challenge you and tell you what you are not. By the same token, my bro Leroy Hurt, he'll tell you, he's called me and asked me about stuff, and I tell him, Hurt, that sucks. That's ugly. Don't do that. It's horrible. Don't. Well, it's being challenged that causes you to be accountable. There's a challenge in accountability, and being accountable, having someone in your ear to challenge your ways makes you expand to becoming better and increases your capacity of understanding. That's where growth and maturity comes from. You don't have anybody that would check you. I want to say you don't have anybody that loves you. Here's what we've done in our world, in our society, and I'm out. We've conditioned people to lie by forcing what we want them to say on them. So when we ask people questions now, hey, do you all like my glasses? I was inspired by Malcolm X. I loved his. I love what he stood for. So I went out and got me glasses. Well, you don't want to hurt my feelings, so you're going to find something nice to say. Well, maybe the reason that I'm asking is there's another pair that I may like. If someone asks you your opinion, you should be obligated to give them the truth, not appease them and tell them what they want to hear. So we've been induced, we've been nominated to lie by saying things we don't mean so that the person we're saying it to is not offended. Now, there's a way to tell the truth. There's a way to speak to make sure that our words are seasoned with meekness and grace. But don't ask me something you don't want to know. And then don't ask me something based on how you feel. Well, I would never say that to you. You're not me. And God has tempered me and wired me in such a way, I'm not supposed to be like you. You're not supposed to be like me. I have a sister that periodically will ask me about certain clothing, apparel that she has. And there have been times when I've given her my opinion. Excuse me, y'all. I'm drinking this. I'm drinking, taking care of the body, of course, this soursop tea. I took my sea moss. I'm drinking soursop tea. And I put moringa powder in my tea. And I just got some of the bottom of it. So she would ask me, how does this look? Because she knew I would tell her the truth. My other sister would say, you shouldn't have told her that. You hurt her feelings. Don't ask my opinion if you do not want to know my truth. And this is what we've done in relationships. This is what we've done in family. This is what we've done in our society. We tell the truth to appease people, and we tell a lie. No, we tell a lie to appease, and we tell the truth to condemn. As soon as you get mad, I ain't like that little ugly dress anyway. Well, that was in your heart. Why you didn't say that the first time? Most times when people are asking, they don't really want truth. They want you to give them what they're thinking. Don't ask Pickett. You know, if I think someone is asking me a question, it's a setup because they want me to compliment them, I just won't say nothing. I'll leave you there talking to yourself. But what you're not going to do is remove me from my seat of opinion, from my place of will that God gave me. I will never go in a meeting and give you my opinion. Ever. I'm not going to volunteer how I feel about something that has nothing to do with me. But if I'm in a meeting and you ask my opinion, embrace yourself for the truth that I have. If you don't want the truth, stop asking. And this is how we've built a culture of lying. Now we got everybody believing that big lips and big butt is what you need to be accepted. One time it was you had to be small as a fingernail. Now the proportion of rump that some people have is just, that's, your rump can't be way like here and your legs way up here. This is your legs. All this your tail. And you walk around thinking that's okay. Why are you doing it? Do you really like that? No, you don't like it. Something has shifted in the culture and told you it was okay, and you want to be in with that culture, so you adopt their look. Where's your originality? Where's your originality? Why do you have to look like they're looking? It's because your identity has been stolen, and stolen identity causes you to accept whatever the culture says. I remember they had women around here starving themselves, trying to get small and be a certain size. Now everybody's going to Botox and hip implants and to fit the culture. And if that's what you choose to do, more power to you. God gives us freedom of will. But there's a level of truth that we miss because we cannot accept truth in our ears. We ask questions and then we try to control the person we're asking by causing them to answer a certain way. You want them to answer according to your like. Well, what you're doing is you are pushing who you are off on them. Let them people be them, you be you. We have to love the difference in each other. I may not agree with you, but it won't stop me from loving you. I have I have a problem with the church world and how we demonize people that are different. Had a discussion the other day about a person's attitude, and church world is so religious, everything is spiritual. Everything is spiritual. Everything. Coffee is spiritual. And I think some of y'all crazy is what I believe. You have no balance in your life. You know why you have no balance? You have no understanding. Some things aren't God or the devil. Some things are you. It's provoked and imposed by self-will. So when we have people in our life that can challenge us, when we have people in our life that can tell us the truth, regardless of what we want to hear, believe it or not, we set ourselves up for success because no man can see everything by himself. Everybody needs somebody. The proof of that is when God created Adam and put him into the garden, he didn't leave him there by himself. He didn't. He even told him, it's not good for you to be sin by yourself. Let me give you somebody to help you. 4 eyes are better than 2. And that's not just in regards to marriage. It's relationships, period. Whether it's mother, father, sister, brother, friends, you need someone who can help you see. That's how you grow. That's how your understanding increases. Increased understanding promotes growth, and it's growth that takes you to maturity. But when you close everybody off and you don't listen to wisdom You know, the longer you do that, the worse you get. The longer you go without somebody else's opinion, the worse you become. And you train your soul to listen, and you train your soul not to listen. When you don't listen, and you don't have a mirror, and you don't have somebody to be accountable to, and you don't have somebody that can tell you the truth, you only grow against yourself, so you're going to always be what you always were. It takes new ideologies. It takes someone challenging you to create a thought, and that thought you marinate on and try something different. It's in our differences that we become better. If everybody stayed the same, what would the world be? So we can't manipulate people and try and control them and change them for who they are, even though we can challenge them to be greater. And let me say this about opinions. It is not okay for you to have an opinion. It's not. It's not okay for you to have an opinion. You need to have what I like to say, an intellectual opinion. In other words, you need to know why you know what you know, and be in a position to be able to explain it intelligently. A fool can say anything out of their mouth. One of the things that social media has done is given everybody a voice. And you ever heard some people talking? It's like, what are you saying? There's no connections in their language. So it's not just having opinion. You need to have an educated opinion. You need to know why you know what you know. Did you not know over 70% of Christians can't tell you why they believe what they believe? They can tell you what they were taught. They're not educated. They've not been educated on why their conscience has gone in a certain direction. So it's not enough for you to have an opinion. You need to know why you know what you know, and be able to articulate what you know, and then be open just in case what you know is wrong. If I present to you, if you present to me a truth, and then I present to you a higher truth, it's nothing wrong for you to say, hey, you know, I never saw it that way. Thank you. Because it's in that challenge I increase in knowledge. But when you reject people and push people away, you're only going to be as good as you were. All of us need somebody. You're not going to make it by yourself. If you could make it by yourself, then history would prove that notion. In history, no one has made it to the top alone. Everybody has had somebody. So you're going to rewrite history? You're going to be the first person to make it by yourself? Well, you're already failing because you didn't get here by yourself. Somebody had to produce you. We're connected, whether you like it or not. Therefore, there are certain people in your life that are sent to challenge you. You have A-type personalities. You have different type of, you have people with strong personalities. You have people that are influencers. You have, well, all these different personalities have a place. Can you imagine what the world would be like if everybody was like Terrence Pickett? The world would be too perfect. It just would be too. I don't think we can handle that. Can you imagine if everybody had a melancholy personality, quiet? They weren't aggressive. They were timid. Nothing would get done. So there's a mixture of personalities. There's a mixture of people so that we can all use each other's strength and challenge each other's weakness. I'm going to conclude it because I'm really done now. I'm really done. I know you all want a world full of Terrence Picketts, but God only gave y'all one. Be grateful for that one. Learn from him. Sit at his feet. No, I'm just kidding. I'm going to say this. Learn to appreciate the difference that you have in people, and learn to challenge the difference to make sure who you're walking with can explain why they are the way that they are. And then both of you join together to look for a higher place of understanding. That's growth, maturity, and understanding. Thank you all. Listen here. Thank you for your support. Keep supporting us. Those of you that give monthly, our Cash App is on the screen. If you don't and you like to give today, you can do so. It helps expand what we do. We are in New York. We are spreading our wings in New York, and things are going well. We're also in Niagara Falls, spreading our wings, and things are going well. And I just want to give you that report, but that is done by your support. Without you, there is no me. Without your ears, I don't have a voice. You make this possible, and I'm glad God chose us to do life together. Listen, you're born to win, predestined to succeed. There's nothing that can happen to you today. Nothing. That the wisdom on the inside of you is not able to handle, but you got to calm down, slow down, be quiet, get out of the way. Use emotional intelligence, trust God, and let wisdom speak. When wisdom speak, you will always win. Y'all have a great day, and always remember to think higher. Speak life. Don't forget, the Cash App is on the screen. Sow a little something.
Coffee time. Yeah, this ain't your average cup of joe. Listen, I need it in the morning, I need it at night. He always keeps it brewing, he always keeps it tight. Just a little sip, it'll get you right. Terrence Pickett always be the one that gets the coffee right. The coffee's right, the coffee's right in my life. It's never a wrong time over crime to get what's yours and to get what's mine. Come on. Coffee time in my life. Coffee time feels so right. I need a little sugar, put it in my cup. Can you stir it, Terrence? Let me know what's up. And at the end of the show, you can brew another pot. Just make sure you make it hot. Come on.